Who doesn't love some affordable gaming peripherals? You guys loved our cheapest gaming mice we could find on Amazon. You can check out that video right over here. But today, we're stepping things up for the cheapest gaming headsets we could find. Let's begin. Oh yeah. So these, my friends, all range from $20 to $25. What a lovely budget price point, and I spent less than $100 on all 5 of them, and you can check them out in the description below if you'd like to buy some of them. But here's my favorite gaming headset for reference, the GSP 300, and I'm curious to see how the cheap gaming headset stack up against something serious. Let's check it out right after this.
So you're looking for something with class, good value, comfortably populate an ATX motherboard, are you? It's all about the user experience and great airflow. Who knew your temperatures would drop that low? Route the cables behind the cover, illuminate your hardware with built-in LEDs. The H500i is for you to discover. This one's in real life, not in your dreams. Say hello to the link below. The H500 series from NZXT is a go. Alright, so these are the cheapest gaming headsets that I could find on Amazon that were around $20, had good reviews without me needing to resort to overseas sellers or AliExpress. Now, unlike with the cheapest mice video, that was a challenging one because none of them had like consistent model names throughout, versus here they do. So on Amazon, regardless if you're buying them from the UK, Deutschland, Canada, US, they all have the exact same model name, but the brand may be slightly different. And because these headsets have been rebranded 1,000 times with different company name, make sure to use our links that we provide to get the exact headset and model number. Now, usually with cheap gaming peripherals, you're guaranteed to find some fun marketing gaming BS lingo, and so 3 of these headsets have the pro gaming headset text written instead of just gaming headset because of course they are clearly not for amateurs. The K1 has a protein cushion, and I've seen a lot of gaming marketing lingo, and protein is a first for me. I'm surprised that the no BS marketing approach for the U3, power, clarity, and comfort all sound like excellent terms, unlike the Sades gaming headset. Okay, this is quite hilarious. Listen to this. Softness and good air permeability, protein earmuffs, multi-points pressure head beam, accord with human body engineering specification. Oh, and apparently it's been designed specifically for the Asian market and the design of the heart by wire. What is the heart by wire? Now keep in mind, all of these are around $20, so don't expect much in terms of accessories. They all have a manual, an extension cord of some sort, or a mic and a headphone splitter, and one even comes with a driver disc. And we all know what to do with those, right? Just throw them away. Now for build quality, they're all in kind of a similar boat in that the frames are completely plastic, no metal pieces anywhere, but this might actually be a good thing since despite my severe bending test, I'm not hearing any creaking or parts simply breaking off, and that's quite surprising. The only outlier here include the Sades headset with the fragile feeling ear cups and the unpleasant plastic on plastic contact, and the U3 headset with a totally loose size extension on the microphone side that drops by its own weight. The toughest pairs are the 2 blue ones that have the somewhat confident frame, but they all very much feel like toys and something might crack and the potential fall from your desk, when compared to the GSP 300 that is also pretty much all plastic, but it feels strong, and the same can be said for the Corsair HS50 at only $50 that has a metal frame, but it is much closer in price to the cheaper headsets. Now in terms of design, I would say the best looking pair out of the 5 is the U3 with an all matte and rubbery texture. I'd say the current gaming brands could take some pointers, an all black design, nothing flashy aside from this kind of giant fox looks like on the side, but at least it's white and not colored, and yeah, I appreciate this design. Unlike the glossy plastic found on the Sades, and this one has like a bit of everything: red glossy plastic, matte headband with some matte red accent as well. So it's kind of all over the place, but at least it is low profile. But it wouldn't be a gaming product without some illumination. So the G2000 and the GM1 share the blue LED illumination that actually looks kind of cool in my opinion. On the G2000 it spreads throughout the entire ear cup, while on the GM1 GM1, it only shines through the sides. And weirdly, it kind of reminded me of the proto-molecule from my favorite sci-fi show, The Expanse. Check it out if you haven't, it's awesome. But it is powered via USB, while the audio is analog. So if you want to have the bling and that visual aesthetic, you have to power it via USB, while everything else plugs in via 3.5mm jacks. And lastly, the K1 is kind of all over the place with glossy, color, and transparent elements. This one actually supposed to come with a USB version as well to light up the transparent element with red, but this one only comes with analog, so I'm not sure why. But yeah, just not a pretty headset because of, like, it's just bulky plastic for the sake of being large. The one thing they all share in common is a basic inline remote for volume control and mic mute that are all within a comfortable reach, with the Sates headset taking the tactile approach with buttons instead, and a mute button for the audio since it's the only USB headset. I'm surprised that 4 out of the 5 pairs have a braided cable. I guess it adds this perceived value, but they're all quite thick and quite heavy, so I prefer the lighter, non-braided cable on a GM1. Now, comfort-wise, it's a bit of a weak point for all of these headsets, either because the ear cushions are not deep enough or the frame itself is not appropriately structured to create a good seal. The good thing is that none of them are super tight, and being plastic also helps with the lightweight nature. I wouldn't wear them for hours and hours and hours, but having them for like a gaming session for standard use is absolutely fine. The Sates headset is the most comfortable with good pressure and seal. They can even rest on your neck without poking you in weird ways. The G2000 is kind of your average fit, but I can feel the drivers inside, and the ear cups have no motion, so they're slightly open at the bottom, not creating the best seal, but they are also fine for your neck. The BXLAN GM1 are so loose, they have almost no clamping pressure, and the plastic is pokey when around your neck, so not recommended, while the K1 sits fine on my head with good pressure around the ear cups, but the headband has these weird wings at the back that are super uncomfortable when the headset sits around your neck. And lastly, the U3 have good clamping force, but the ear cushions are quite thin, and the headband material is pretty harsh, especially when in contact with your skin, so not pleasant around your neck. And just for reference, here's the GSP 300 with an incredible fit and seal that is made for a human head and takes into account the potential of being worn for hours without any fatigue whatsoever. While the $50 HS50 kind of share the similar nature in terms of not having too much clamping force as the cheaper headsets, but still a lot more comfortable than any of those combined. Alright, so when it comes to microphone quality, this is a $24 G2000. It sounds better than some gaming headsets, like much higher in its price point. So this like impressive clear sound definition. It doesn't have much, noise cancellation in the background. So if you're clicking and clacking away on a mechanical keyboard, then tough luck. But and also another thing is that it is completely non-modular. You can move it up, but it cannot be moved closer to your mouth, so it's like stuck in one position and it's not flexible. But sound wise, it's really good. So this is what the K1 sounds like. It has slightly more compression in the background and slightly less detailed pickup, but still quite good. And this one is actually slightly flexible, so you can position it closer to your mouth or a bit further away, so mobility on the microphone is better. This is what the BXLAN GM1 sounds like. There is more compression going on, so you do sacrifice a bit of vocal clarity. Also, the microphone is pretty short and non-flexible, but I mean, pretty decent for $20. The teammates will definitely hear you, and yeah, not the worst in this collection. This is the U3. This one sounds the most distant, like the microphone is like really far away, but still has some clarity. And the thing is, it's very stiff on its arm, so by rotating up I can just remove the headset by itself. So that is one of the disadvantages when it comes to budget gaming peripherals. And lastly, the Sage gaming headset. This one has the most amount of background compression, so it's a good thing, but also you kind of lose on the vocal clarity a little bit because this is running off a USB, so the processing is done by the headset and not by my sound card on the motherboard. And just for reference, here's the GSP 300, a $99 headset that I use as like the benchmark for a good quality microphone that has nice body, richness to the vocals, that has good clarity, good compression in the background without sacrificing that vocal detail. Really good microphone overall. But how does the $50 HS50
stack up. So this one actually sounds a bit more harsh in comparison to GSP 300, and also I would say like the G2000 sounds a bit more clear and like not as nasally. So this like impressive clear sound definition, and quite frankly I'm a bit surprised that we haven't seen better microphones on more expensive pairs, because for $24 the microphone on a G2000 sounds better than this guy. But let me know which one sounded best to you in the comments below.
Alright, so audio impressions are next. The G2000 actually has good body to the sound without sounding too tinny. It does lean towards the muddiness because of course the bass isn't like super controlled and tight, but you can still feel it's got a little more power in there, and the only disadvantage here would be the lack of soundstage. They sound quite closed off, and also they don't create the best seal, which is where I think the bass could have been improved. But for $24, these have been quite impressive. Moving on to the Sades gaming headset at $23. This one has a fun sound signature. This one has the best bass out of the entire 5 pairs because of a better seal. It resonates really nicely inside the ear cup. You can feel the power, and the treble is not harsh. Nice detailed presentation, but beyond 80% volume, I could hear distortion, things start to fall apart a little bit. And this is the most powerful headset out of the bunch. I would say 70% volume is where I would leave it for maximum, because otherwise it gets way too loud. And I would say this is the best sounding pair out of the 5. Pretty impressive for $23. The Be Excellent GM1 is next at $20. The Be Excellent name is ironic because it is far from it. Super harsh treble, dry, the bass has left the building because the seal is non-existent because they're so loose and just don't, you know, they're almost like little tiny speakers beside the ear that don't create anything for you. This is the headset that you would buy if you want to prank someone. Totally avoid this one. Moving on to the U3, these are actually quite satisfying, delivering the best stereo imaging out of all these 5 pairs. So your spatial awareness in games is actually quite good. The bass is quite flat with a nice treble boost. So I would say that is your, or at least my preferred sound signature for games. So the U3, not bad. And lastly, the K1, these are okay. They deliver bright extension, so there's emphasis on treble, which is good amount of detail, but you can hear the distortions at higher volumes, which is unpleasant. But these do deliver the widest soundstage out of 5 of these, which is quite impressive, but with really airy bass, so those lower end notes are just not grabbed. You don't feel any body to the sound. It's quite bright, not harsh unless you go to really high volumes. So these are just okay. All right, so my 2 picks from this roundup would be these 2. The Sades gaming headset because it has the best sound quality, the best bass, the best isolation, and I would say they're also the most comfortable out of the bunch, despite being kind of wonky in the build quality. And the G2000 because the microphone at $24 is quite impressive. The fit is okay, isolation, you know, it's not as good as the Sades, but it's still better than the rest, and the sound quality is actually pretty decent too. Now, if you were to double your budget, the $50 HS50 is a no-brainer. These will last you longer because of the metal construction. They have a much wider and cleaner soundstage, better bass, and better fit overall. The microphone is good too, and they're also low profile, so you can actually wear them outdoors and not kind of be stuck with this like gaming aesthetic on your head. This is for home use only, of course, and these are a bit more versatile. And if you're really stepping outside your comfort zone, the $100 GSP 300 is a no-brainer in that next price level because the microphone is incredible, they are super comfortable, audio characteristics are awesome, and they create an incredible seal too. The bass is excellent, so just an overall balanced headset that, you know, is gaming centric, but definitely worth it for $100.
Wow. Could this be the one? This actually is the Landcool one.
The case with a fantastic front panel design with a brushed aluminum plate, complementing airflow and the gorgeous RGB illumination through the central cavity. We've got a Type-C port at the front, a capable interior for water cooling and airflow, and a totally flush glass panel on the side. And to spice things up, the Lee & Lee streamer cables give off unique RGB illumination for 24 and 8-pin cables, controlled via the case lighting or through its own controller hub for this interesting color spill on the interior.
And you can check them out in the description below.
And so in conclusion, it is always fun to venture out into the budget territory and hopefully discover a gem or two. And I think we did with these 2 pairs. And I would say like all of them have their strength in terms of like the design elements, and microphones are actually quite impressive for under $25. And the only outlier here would be the the Be Excellent GM1. Yeah, avoid this one because it is, I don't want to call products garbage, but this is kind of it. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think of what type of headset you're running, and if you're on the budget below $25, you definitely have some options. They'll all be linked in the description below. Make sure to check out this other relevant content, subscribe to our new boot sequence, and we'll see you in the next video. Happy gaming on a budget.